Mike, how are you? So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thanks for being here today for
Oh,
presiding over our festivities.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right, this is my first time around, so yours too.
Okay.
So, let's see.
We'll work through this.
All right.
No, how's everything under the new courthouse still liking the new place?
Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you've been over. I mean, so it's one of, come on over out. You can do that. Just have a tour. Show them everything.
I'll definitely take you up on that. It's a little bit different than the old feel of kind of chambers and the old building.
Yeah, it's very, yes, everything.
It's okay. We'll warm it up over time.
It's good. Yeah. Actually, it is. I mean, there are a lot of things at the beginning, which was this security that finally said, hey, the elephants.
Appreciate your help.
Yeah, yeah. No, sweet. Well, I'm looking forward to working with you. And we'll have a good, when I used to meet with the chair all the time. And drink together, so I would like to continue that.
No, that's important.
Yeah.
And any peers to reach out to you personally, right on the calendar.
Oh, good. All right, well, good luck.
Thanks again.
No, don't be nervous.
Nervous comes.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's
pretty easy.
just
Hard to screw this one.
I said, I might put my back to the window. I'm not sure I want to do that. Right. I'm on. Okay, we'll get started. Okay, we'll get started. All right. All right. We'll get started. Okay. Testing. All right. Testing. Oh, no, we're not.
Try again.
Testing.
Testing.
Try again. Testing. Testing. I think we have it. All right. All right. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Charles Draghi, the Chief Judge of the 10th Judicial District, and it's my pleasure today to welcome all of you to the 2023 inaugural ceremony for newly elected and re-elected county officials. So this morning we will be inducting 4 officials into public office as certified by the Canvassing Board on November 17, 2022. And those officials include Becky Fass, re-elected to a second term as Commissioner of the 1st District. Janae Hanslick, re-elected to a second term as Commissioner of the 4th District. and Michael Ashcraft, reelected to a fourth term as Commissioner of the 5th District, and Mike Kelly, elected as Chairman of the Board. So to start things off, I'd like to invite Cal Wiebe, who's an attorney and a family member of Becky Fast, to come to the podium to introduce Commissioner Becky Fast.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you and good morning. I thought maybe I was going to fly under the radar and you wouldn't know me as an attorney. Simply a cousin of Becky's. I think in Johnson County, my claim to fame is I'm a cousin of Commissioner Fast. Now, Becky and I have 23 other cousins who could say the same thing. And if we're not careful about what I say, the next family gathering, I might be in trouble. But here I go. I maybe haven't said this before, but Becky and I are almost siblings from a different mother. Our mothers were sisters. Mine was 15 years older. When their mother died, when it was time for Becky's mother, Velma, my Aunt Velma, to go to high school, she came to Wichita, to the big city, to live with my mother. And so I know what I got from mothering. Becky might have gotten a big dose of the same thing. One thing that I probably had to write out when I was also writing, I will make my bed every morning. She started with 25 times, and I think one time it went to 50 times. Write that out, Calvin. Every other line, if it's worth doing well. So, thanks, Mom. I remember it. So, as much as any Mennonite boy is permitted to have pride, I am proud this morning to introduce my cousin. She comes from a small rural farming town, values of hard work, community, faith, values of serving others, a predilection to using the pronouns us and we. Those are good pronouns, especially when you're in public service. She also got a sense of aspiration. And I say that because the little town that she grew up near to, Mountain Lake, had aspirations. If you go looking for a mountain, maybe there's a hill. If you go looking for a lake, well, there are some ponds. They're not real close to the hill, but that's where her aspirations started, I say. Now, she also got some of the same dose that I got. Now, I've never had a red car. I learned my lessons well. Becky, in contrast, had a red Honda Civic, and I think I've got this quote from her dad right. Becky, could you be any more vain? Uncle Bud was the youngest uncle in the family, and he was a jokester, and we always enjoyed being around Uncle Bud and Aunt Velma. Becky went to college at Heston College, Bethel College, University of Kansas, where she earned a couple of master's degrees, social work, public administration. She spent 12 years with U.S. Representative Dennis Moore in constituent services. And as an attorney, I kind of did the same thing, but they were my constituents, I guess. But she also helped governmental bodies become aware of and use resources that the federal government had. In this case, the resources that Johnson County has. And that time and experience and her prior training helped her cut through red tape, help folks understand how to qualify for programs that were useful, from small businesses to individuals. And she has also been and continues currently as a co-position with being county commissioner as the executive director of the Kansas chapter of the National Association of Social Work. Becky is a planner and an organizer. And for almost 25 years, I planned and organized a Memorial Day picnic for our extended family. And this year, our children and spouses carried it off. And going forward, Becky says, you know, we could do the same thing. We could all get together, and it would be simpler if we all brought our own lunch. So Cal, you weren't hauling charcoal and starters and coolers and burgers and hot dogs and buns. We'll get to the same place. It'll be simpler. And I bought that because it's right. So I am very proud to introduce the Honorable Becky Fast as the commissioner from the 1st District of Johnson County. And I don't think I coined this phrase, but I'm going to say it again. Her pronouns are us and we. And I don't mean to imply anything in that other than she's looking to serve. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Cal. Very lucky to have such caring relatives, and he is a KU Jayhawk like myself. Hello, Johnson County. I am deeply honored to serve and work for District 1 and all of Johnson County. My mom got me started in politics at a young age, advocating for my brother with Down syndrome and those without a voice. My mother, a teacher, and my father, a farmer and a county employee with public transit, instilled in me that public service is indeed a noble calling. I know they're looking down, very proud. Today, I bring my passion for the most vulnerable in our county, plus my resolve to speak up for the voices that are often neglected and not heard by elected leaders. I also bring my years of policy experience working at the federal, state, and city government level. I am proud to have championed during my first term addressing the continuum of housing needs, access to crisis mental health care, and solar standards to ensure energy independency for generations to come. During these past 4 years, during an ever-changing economic environment, the board came together to solve complex infrastructure issues, stormwater, sewers, roads, which are going to pave the way for over 4,000 jobs at the new Century Airport and an additional 4,000 at the Sunflower Ammunition Plant. I would be remiss not to acknowledge it was very difficult during the COVID-19 pandemic. I will never forget in 2018, during my first campaign, I knocked on a Prairie Village door and a man opened and he said, "Ma'am, I will vote for you, but I hope you remember the most important role that you will serve is as the Board of Public Health." So I raised my shoulders and said, "Huh? How often does that happen? Every 100 years?" Within a year and a half, we were amidst a global pandemic. I am proud that we made decisions to save lives. So Johnson County government has been built on a foundation of forward-thinking public servants, built on a beacon of what is possible. In the 1960s, innovative voices brought forward purchasing green space out at Shawnee Mission Park at a time when it was miles away from any city. In the 1960s, the county opened one of the first mental health centers and one of the first public health departments in the state. And in the 2000s, county leaders led on sustainability initiatives, and we had some of the first LEED certified buildings in the state of Kansas. As your commissioner, I will work hard to solve problems and find better and more efficient ways to deliver services. I'm looking forward to making strides and more improvements on aging and disability services, transit, housing, environmental conservation, and our crisis mental health service continuum. Only 34 individuals have served as the District 1 commissioner before me, and we're a county that is like 160 years old. So it's a great honor and a privilege for me to take the oath of office today. But I stand here because of the support of so many people. The past 4 years definitely have been quite the roller coaster ride at times, to say it lightly. But thank you to the friends and family, some who are gathered here, also to the hundreds of people. I'm still in awe of their generosity, who donated to my campaign, who volunteered. Running for office in a district of 100,000 people is no easy task and was an over a year endeavor. So I look forward to working with our new chairman, Kelly, and his vision, and finding ground with my commissioners and colleagues to make the life better for the good people of Johnson County. So I want to end with one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa. "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone to create many ripples." So thank you, District 1, for placing your trust in me to represent you as your next commissioner. You got my promise, Johnson County. I will work hard and never quit listening. But most of all, I'm ready to get to work and deliver even more results for the people of Johnson County.
Ms. Bass, if you'll join me up front. All right, Ms. Fass, will you raise your right hand, please? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Becky Fass, do solemnly swear
I, Becky Fast, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Commissioner, 1st District,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District 1 Commissioner
and of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas,
and of the Board of Johnson County Commissioners, Johnson County, Kansas,
Close enough. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you want me to wait and sign later? Okay.
I get two.
Okay. And now I'd like to invite Bob Carlson, newly elected Chair of the Board of Parks and Recreation, to come to the podium to introduce Commissioner Janae Hanslick.
As stated, I'm Bob Carlson. I'm a resident and work in Overland Park. And despite my appearance, I am not Santa Claus. Probably. I know Janae in a number of different ways, as a neighbor and as a friend, as a fellow church member, and as the confirmation sponsor of my daughter. I know her as a longtime leader of a mission at our church that supports 200 kids in Haiti, a school. We fund a school in Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. I know that she places great importance on her family, her husband David, 2 wonderful daughters, 2 handsome son-in-laws, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the 4 dogs that they own. They certainly are dog lovers. I know her as the CEO of Safe Home, providing services for women and children in great time of need. And now I know her as County Commissioner, a position I know she's incredibly well suited for. I respect her judgment, I respect her intelligence. She's a lifetime learner. She has a curiosity on issues. I know that she respects expertise and she seeks counsel. In fact, this morning in Janae's office, I heard a wonderful story of her reaching out to Linnea to get advice and counsel after George Floyd. I know that she respects the experts within the county, our county manager, assistant county managers, department heads, staff, the people who are charged with providing government services every day to our citizens. She works hard for results that make a difference in people's lives, including her special interests in housing, services for the aging, transit, and mental health. Each year, the county puts out a list of accomplishments of everything that was done in the past year, and it always makes me feel great. Our county achieves a lot. And it makes me especially optimistic that I know that Janae Hanslick is on the team leading that effort. Thank you for your past 4 years. I look forward to the next 4 years and everything that will be accomplished. I'm proud to introduce Janae Hanslick.
Well, thank you, Bob, for that very, very kind introduction. I appreciate your being a dedicated friend and cheerleader throughout many journeys that we've had together. And I'm especially grateful for your leadership now as the chair of the Johnson County Parks and Recreation Board. We're very, very fortunate to have your expertise. So before I begin my remarks, my official remarks, I want to take a moment to thank my family and friends who are joining me today, especially my husband David, my son-in-law Camden, and my niece Bethany, who are here. I also want to thank Kay Healy, chair of the Water One Board, who is here, as well as Denise Riedel, Melissa Carlson, and Kristen Brum, who all worked very, very hard to support my campaign for reelection. I also want to thank a longtime good friend, Dr. Donna Davis, professor at UMKC, as well as Linnea McKenzie, who's the director of the Advocacy and Awareness Group of Johnson County. It takes all of us to make this county what it is, and I appreciate your being here today to celebrate with me. Thank you. So, and again, before I begin, I want to make a special welcome to Chair Mike Kelly, incoming Chair Mike Kelly, and his family. I've had the privilege to work with incoming Chair Mike Kelly in my role as former board member of Climate Action KC, and I'm looking forward to working with him in this capacity too, so welcome. So this morning, I really want to direct my remarks to the people of District 4. Thank you for entrusting me to represent you another 4 years. I consider it a great privilege and responsibility and a partnership. I'm proud of what we've accomplished these past 4 years. You've heard some of it already, but increasing access to housing options for working families, doubling the number of mental health co-responders, increasing access to home health services for seniors, and supporting opportunities for economic development in emerging industries like renewable energy. However, these activities only lay the foundation. We have so much more to do. In our many conversations, emails, coffee meetings, and phone calls, the residents of District 4 have shared their challenges, needs, and expectations with me. I consistently hear 3 themes. First, they want the Board of County Commissioners to keep Johnson County moving in the right direction as a great place to live, work, and raise a family. They want the commission to support continuing investment in a vibrant quality of life and a robust business environment, while maintaining fair taxes and responsible spending. Parks, libraries, and infrastructure are major priorities for District 4. Second, they want the county to address the changing demographics and growing needs in Johnson County so that all people in our community can reach their potential. That includes mental health services, housing options and affordability, transit, senior services, diversity initiatives, and disability services. Those are all priority issues of Commission District 4. And third, and certainly not least, District 4 residents want their elected leaders to model respect, dignity, patience, honesty, and critical thinking. Even in the face of disagreements, they expect us to rise above the fray and exemplify those qualities that provide the basis for effective representative government. As I take my oath of office, I commit to the residents of District 4 that I will do my very, very best to meet your expectations. Working with my colleagues on the board under the leadership of incoming Chairman Kelly, I look forward to meeting the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead of us. Thank you for honoring me with your trust as your county commissioner.
All right, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Janae Hanslick, do solemnly swear
I, Janae Hanslick, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Officer of Commissioner, 4th District,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Officer of Commissioner, 4th District,
of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas.
of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, and now I'd like to invite Evan Ashcraft, Commissioner Ashcraft's grandson, and Elena Ashcraft, Commissioner Ashcraft's daughter, to come to the podium to introduce Commissioner Michael Ashcraft.
Good morning. My name is Elena Ashcraft. This is my son, Evan. He is the grandson to Michael Ashcraft, his papa. He is grateful and excited to introduce him this morning.
For those of you that haven't heard the term Papa, my family has a lot of German heritage, and it's a common term. Papa is more common in the English language, but for Germans it's Papa. So that was a name that I knew about growing up, although I never actually knew my grandparents. They died when I was very, very young. So I have been blessed beyond measure to know my children and their children. So I wanted to thank Evan for and his mother for that gracious introduction. So I will tell you that I was talking to my daughter right before this, and she said, well, do you know what you're going to say? And I said, well, I actually wrote 3 speeches. And she said, well, short, medium, and long? And I said, well, no, but one was humorous, one was factual, and one was thankful. And I will stand here before you saying, I'm not sure which one I'm going to offer to you, but I'm going to start with the thankful. I have, beyond any measure, been blessed. I still, even though I'm going into my 4th term, I still wake up almost every morning and just go, how did I ever get elected? And I will tell you, I just don't know how. I will suggest that after the 2008 recession, I was sitting at a breakfast meeting with a friend of mine, and we were trying to put together a business plan. And I honestly was fussing about something, and I don't remember what I was fussing about, but he said, well, why don't you just run for office? And it had never dawned on me to run for office, and the timing just happened to be that the county commission elections were coming up. So I looked at it, and I said, you know, I'm going to raise my hand, I'm going to go to the blackboard, and I'm going to try. And I did, and I will tell you that I actually enjoy campaigning, and I enjoy the people that I interact with, and I would encourage all of you, well, none of you in the 5th District, but any of you that want to run for office, you should, because the people of Johnson County, and I represent Olathe and Lenexa, and I know they're representative of all of Johnson County. They're overwhelmingly nice and overwhelmingly gracious. And even with all the turmoil you hear and all the community angst and the COVID issues and all those things that kind of come into play in the collective psyche, when you go door to door and meet people one-on-one, overwhelmingly nice. Now, I will tell one little short story because Lietta Felter, who actually ran against me 4 years ago, and it was a vibrant campaign, but she and I are fast friends, and she and I do presentations to the Olathe leadership training group. And they always ask, well, tell us about campaigning. Well, I will give you one piece of advice, and Lietta knows what I'm going to say. And it took me a little while to figure this out, but when you knock on doors, always take a deep breath before you knock on doors, because I knocked on one door and the sweet aroma of Mary Jane was prevalent. And the conversation started off okay, but something happened and it switched. And so that was not a good experience. And I will tell you, very few people in Johnson County, or at least my district, enjoy Mary Jane. But there was one other, and I will tell you, I forgot to sniff before I knocked. So that is my humorous portion of my presentation. I want to be thankful for the people who helped me run. Several of them are here. Michelle Lockwood, Jason Osterhaus, Wayne Janner, Tom Whitaker, and Leetta. She gave me good advice not to run against her ever again. So, but the people that I really want to thank are my family. Although I will take a pause and welcome the new chair, but Ed Eilert is also back in the corner of the room, and Ed was an individual that I had the pleasure of serving with for 12 years. And after the first couple years, he wanted me next to him, so whenever I opened my mouth, he could swing and make sure I shut it quickly. And Ed and I often disagreed, but we did so agreeably, and I consider him a friend and a confidant, although in terms of some philosophies, we still have disagreements. But I want to thank my family in particular. One individual is my brother. He is not here. I hope he is watching remotely. He definitely has been an inspiration and a source to me. He lives in Virginia, and I love him dearly, and I miss him. But having said that, I want to recognize my son, Evan, and his son, Milo, who is my second grandson, and my granddaughter was not able to make it. And then I also want to recognize Elena again. And ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was her birthday, so I don't want to have anybody not have an opportunity to wish her happy birthday. Also, Evan, my grandson, Milo, and really my wife, Jane. We will be celebrating our 46th year later this year in July. So I want to thank you. I look forward to the service, and I will offer just one factual perspective. There's a fellow that wrote a book named Jim Collins. He wrote a book, Good to Great. And I will tell you that in Johnson County, this may not be paradise, but you can see it from here. This is a house in time, that we are so fortunate to be here and now. With all the things that we struggle with, they are minor by comparison. And I will tell you that we are thankful. But Jim Collins made one very important point in his book. Actually, he made millions of dollars, so I'm sure he made more than one point. But the one point that really stuck with me is that the biggest obstacle to greatness is good enough. And we must always challenge ourselves to be beyond good so that we can make sure that Johnson County stays great forever for us and for our children and our grandchildren. Milo, Evan, that's for you. Thank you.
All right. Would you please raise your right hand? Repeat after me. I, Michael Ashcraft, do solemnly swear
I, Michael Ashcraft, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Commissioner, 5th District,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Commissioner, 5th District,
of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas.
of the Board of County Commissioners, Johnson County, Kansas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Hannes Zacharias, former county manager of Johnson County Government, to come to the podium and introduce Chair-elect Mike Kelly.
Thank you. A true story. Early in the morning of the fall of 2021, I woke from my dreams thinking about who was going to be the next chairperson for Johnson County government. I know, I'm weird that way. I had a strong suspicion that the current chairperson, Ed Otter, was not going to run again for the position, and the question came, who will lead this community of which I have grown fond of in the future and in the present? I thought a good successor would be someone who was a current mayor, a proven collaborator on big issues, and well-trained in the art of government and legislative affairs, perhaps even an attorney. My mind scanned the current list of mayors and came instantly to the name Mike Kelly, mayor of Roland Park, outstanding leader of a nationally and internationally recognized Climate Action KC coalition, and an attorney. I said to myself, someone should talk to him and ask if he would run. As some of you may know, that when one asks those questions, the person who should do this is you. So following my own advice, I gave him a call and asked if he would consider the position. It was a quick and cordial conversation, more of a surprise than acceptance. Several weeks later, he called to say yes, he would consider to run only if I would agree to be his campaign treasurer, a position in which I have no expertise. Mind you, throughout my 35-plus years in local government, I remained apolitical. However, no longer in local government management, and given the importance of this position, I said yes so long as competent others would handle all the treasurer and campaign details. Positions that were later brilliantly filled by Cole Robinson, Daniel Robinson, Claire Reagan, and a host of other talented campaign volunteers. Thus started the campaign leading to today's swearing in. But who is Mike Kelly? Mike Kelly is a lifelong resident of Johnson County, born and raised in Leawood, and lives now in Roland Park with his wife Elizabeth, their daughter Virginia, son George, and their dog Margot. He has served as mayor of Roland Park since first being elected in November 2017. In 2019, Mike, along with Lindsay Constance, co-founded Climate Action KC, a regional leader implementing best practices for reducing emissions, energy efficiency, and natural conservation. As an attorney, Mike was recently promoted to partner with Hush Blackwell, focusing on real estate, design, and construction litigation. So why do I think Mike is the best person to lead our county? Simply because he is a compassionate and intelligent decision maker who makes political decisions for the greater good. Politics is not a bad word. Engaging in politics is what we do in this country when there are no clear answers to difficult problems. What makes a responsible and admired politician different from the others is their focus on weighing the impact of their decision on sometimes competing values. Values such as representation, individual rights, efficiency and effectiveness, and social equity. Throughout his time as mayor of Roland Park and as chairman of Climate Action KC, Mike has had to balance the consequences of his decisions in each of these values, keeping in mind that every decision will impact someone. And he has done so with skill, intellect, and heart. How will Mike go about leading Johnson County government? I believe Mike will lead county government by listening to all sides of an issue, garnering all the appropriate information, and then making a decision on behalf of all of the county now and for future generations. Mike will represent the interests of the 137,600 people that voted for him, but also keep in mind the interests of the 106,300 that voted for someone else, the 199,900 registered voters that chose not to vote, and the 169,200 people who are not eligible to vote. I believe he will embody the tenets of the Athenian Oath. The Athenian Oath is over 200 years old and was required of those men in Greece who wanted to enter politics. Before doing so, they had to swear to not only leave the community not worse, but better and more beautiful than it was given to them. The same values ascribed to all Eagle Scouts, including Mike. On behalf of the thousands who have the confidence to vote for this person, a person with keen intellect and the ability to make Johnson County better and more beautiful than he found it, I am proud to welcome to this podium the third elected Johnson County chairperson in 20 years, Mike Kelly.
Congratulations, dude. You deserve this. You really do. You really do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. To Hannes Zacharias, thank you very much for your kindness, for your trust. Thank you for being here, and Hannes, welcome back. I think you'll recognize that the pillars that you set in Johnson County still hold true. Thank you very much. And to the rest of Johnson County, good morning. Good morning. It may be a cold day outside, but in this room we are warm, and I appreciate the warm reception. Thank you very much for being here. Let me first thank my family, to my wife Elizabeth, to my parents, Jim, Marilyn. Your love and your trust and your confidence guides me every day, and I sure appreciate the wisdom that you continue to give me. To my children, to my in-laws, Karen and David, thank you for making our family such a wonderful bedrock. For after hard days in law or politics, it's always nice to come home and listen to some real honest truth, even if you don't want to hear it sometimes. But thank you so much for that. I'd like to thank the various elected officials who have joined us today. I saw Mayor Gardner from Wyandotte County, the Unified Government of Kansas City, Kansas. I see Mayor Waters, Mayor Walker, the entire commission, to Councilmember Thomas from the City of Mission, to the staff members from Westwood and Roland Park who have come here today. We recognize that Johnson County thrives because of a thriving metropolitan region, and vice versa. And we look forward to continuing to help lead this metropolitan region forward. So thank you all for being here today. To the team that helped me get elected, to Cole, to Danielle, to Denise, to Hannes, to Wes, and all who worked on the campaign, thank you so much for your trust and for your life for the better part of a year. It is a unique endeavor trying to reach out to 600,000 plus Johnson Countyans and not only introduce yourself, but in a lot of ways introduce this role and its crucial necessity to the well-being of our community. So thank you very much, all of you, for your assistance. And thank you to the two past chairs that have served in this role for the past 20 years, both of whom are here today. Thank you so much for your guidance and your leadership, for your trust, for your continued wisdom as we face difficult issues for our community. I will be calling upon that. Thank you for taking the calls. You know, as a native son of Johnson County, I'm very proud and honored to serve in this role, leading Johnson County into the future. And I'm excited to work with my fellow commissioners as we build upon the legacies of the past, but also importantly, shape our direction for the future generations in Johnson County. With Chairman Eilert retiring, we all found ourselves on an election point this year, and we heard the people of Johnson County speak loud and clear, and I think we can take direction from their edicts. I think they asked us to rebut extremism. They asked us to rebut conspiracy theories or misinformation, and we were charged not to resort to partisan rhetoric or to politics, especially on crucial issues like public safety. We were reminded that our staff is the most valuable resource that we have in this county, and that we must just not maintain but grow a rewarding work environment for those who dedicate their careers to public service here in Johnson County. You know, as a great Kansan, President Dwight Eisenhower once said, "This world of ours must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate, and be instead a proud confederation of mutual trust and respect." Importantly and positively, I think Johnson County also in a lot of ways said yes. In this election, they said yes to science and public health. They said yes to bringing new opportunities, especially economic opportunities, to Johnson County and to our region. And they said yes to protecting our environment and addressing the threats of a changing climate. You know, Johnson County, I've listened and I appreciate your guidance and your message. Let's take these lessons forward with courage. None of us make this sacrifice just for a title. We come into this role because of the opportunity to lead and to make tangible change in the lives of nearly 1 million people in our community, to protect the institutions that have been built for decades, but also to make them better, to be bold, to focus on the topics that will really set the course for our county and our state for future generations. Things like early childhood education, like housing, like transportation, economic development in key sectors like growth and biologics, design, architecture, engineering. Johnson County, it's time. I'm looking forward to moving. I grew up in Leawood, I guess what you'd call Old Leawood now, about 105th and State Line, right in between the Gates Barbecue and Tomahawk Wastewater Treatment Facility. So I think it was really dependent on how the wind was blowing in the morning of how your day was going to go. But as we embark upon this journey together, let me greet you with the same warm greeting that's given to all who walked through the doors that Ollie Gates opened nearly 70 years ago. Hi, may I help you? They say it a little more emphatically, right? So to all those who voted for me and to all those who didn't, please let me know how I may help you. I'm very proud and it is my honor to serve. God bless you. May God guide me on this journey, and thank you for all the blessings that he's giving to me and to our community here in Johnson County, for all the hands that have built it, for the minds and the talent that are leading it today, and for the courageous hearts that will guide our county into the future. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Kelly, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Mike Kelly, do solemnly swear
I, Mike Kelly, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Chairman of the Board
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Chairman of the Board
of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas.
of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our proceedings this morning. It's my pleasure to introduce you, and I'd like to have all the people that were sworn today come forward. These newly installed county commissioners, Commissioner Becky Fast, Commissioner Janae Hanslick, Commissioner Michael Ashcraft, and Chairman Mike Kelly. And I'd like to extend each of them our collective best wishes on behalf of the community. And please join us later in the atrium for a reception honoring all these county officers. So I now present you all with the latest elected county officials. There being no other business this morning, we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
I know.